I'm fed bound. I ain't playing with them, bitch. You know I'm fed bound. Yeah, they know I'm fed bound. You know I'm fed bound. You heard this shit about Foolio? Listen, he's not gonna come back from the dead. That's not what that's for. I think they can do shit to make his spirit more powerful and able to do different shit. Powers, he'll be able to do more shit. Like he'll be able to probably do shit to the people who smoked him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it'll make his spirit more powerful to the point where he can actually probably smoke the people who smoked him while he's a ghost, essentially. Like he can stay here for a minute. You know what I'm saying? He can leave on his time. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who might understand or might have heard of like people being like going to the light and shit, I think that there's something you can do where you can put it on your time. You feel me? Like I feel like it's not like that for everybody. Like you have to like do shit to make it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it might let him do that. You know what I'm saying? So he can just chill around here till this is all took care of, and then no one's gonna try to get him up out of here. He can just he no rush. He could leave fucking 60, 70 years from now if he wanted to. Doing that shit. I understand voodoo. I said this shit in one of my other videos. It was not related to Foolio. Voodoo is a faith, like most faiths, right? Every faith, from Christianity all the way to fucking Judaism and Satanism, only works if you believe in it. I've literally seen, it was at a courthouse. It was a holding cell for Danbury Courthouse. And on the toilet stall for it, right, where the toilet was at in this holding cell while I'm waiting for court, there's etched on the wall right above the toilet, it said something about praying to God. And I think someone wrote like, pray for me. I'm praying right now. I hope I'll let you know if it works. And then right under that, like you can tell he came back from court and like I guess he was getting out. He was like, yo, I pray to God that shit really works. And then under that, you got a bunch of other people on heroin. Like, I swear to God, it says something too where he had first wrote it about being on heroin and shit and how he was never gonna use heroin again. Him, like, cause everyone, like literally like 5 different people under him doing that shit after he came back and was like, it works. Like, we're like, yeah, I prayed today, brother, it works. I've been off heroin for this long, it works. Like a random holding cell in fucking Danbury Courthouse. That's like with baseline level of like what everyone basically in the world at least knows of existing is Christianity, right? There's a lot of people that's Christian, you know what I'm saying? So everyone, even if you're not Christian, you know what Christianity is because of how widespread it is. You feel me? Just like if you're not Jewish or you're not Muslim, you still know what Judaism and Islam is, right? When it comes to those weird faiths like Wicca, Satanism, anything to do with voodoo, witchcraft, whatever, a lot of times that faith factor is 10 times more important. And I think like certain faiths like cancel that shit out, right? For example, I think like Judaism and Christianity probably cancel that shit out the most. If you are a straight up skeptic of voodoo, but at the same time you're a Christian or a Jude or you're Jewish, I almost said a Judist, but I was like, that's not the word. If you're Jewish or you're Christian, I think that fucking Judaism and Christianity probably provide, and you're a full-on skeptic at the same time, I don't think voodoo can affect you. Islam, listen, I went to prison, I read the Quran and shit. I'm not a Muslim, but I've studied Islam, and like I use Islam in my daily life, man. Islam is an acronym for I, self, Lord, and Master. You feel me? It's like Allah is an acronym for arm, leg, arm, head. Some people who are religious would consider it able, not that it does in line with Satanism, but that it could. Part of what David Koresh's thing involved was parts of Christianity and parts of Islam. Because I, self, Lord, and Master, right? A lot of Satanists have this weird idea about like not bowing to no type of God. It's weird. It's weird. Like a lot of Satanists have this like, this is like something that they're ideologically, like they're ideologues about. They're ideologically locked on this idea of not bowing before no God. I have a problem doing that for whatever reason. What I was saying is Islam, because I, self, Lord, and Master, and a lot of people don't know is Allah the God word in Islam and Arabic and shit is arm, leg, arm, head. Like everything in that shit is an acronym. I didn't realize that shit till I was in prison. Now I don't know if that's how Islam in the Middle East is, or if that's just prison Islam. I don't know. I remember Stretch tried to get me to go to Juma one time, bro. Stretch tried to get me to go to Juma, and I was like, I almost went too. We were thinking about it for a good week. We were like, what if we put his name on like the Juma request slip? Like, try to get him into Juma. I'm not gonna say why he was trying to get me to go to Juma, but it was for, let's just say, like non-law abiding purposes in prison. Like it was for breaking the law in jail, yeah. So I could see the way the voodoo working with this is everybody who believes in there being some type of supernatural thing behind these tweets. If this is a ritual, because I could see it being one. Because I see where you would get the charging from. I see how you could use it to charge the spirit. Okay, I see how there's a channel, a direct channel, because you're putting faith into his name. I see what could, you know what I'm saying? Because I think about the Memphis rap sigils. And the thing is with the Memphis rap sigils is charging. When you charge the spirit, you're giving it power through various means. One of the easiest ways is to anger the spirit by basically pissing it off, by making it hear where it died at and where you recorded a diss track at after it died. You know, I'm referring to the spirit, not the person. That's why I'm saying it. Spirits, souls, and people are all different things. So like every time you play that shit, it's pissing off the spirit that was killed while making that track, and basically a copy of that spirit was put onto this magnetic strip of this tape. That's why the analog tape recorder was important for that shit. Every time it plays and people hear it, and the more even that people hear, that's what is on it. Like the more that, not only that the song get plays, but also the more people that know that the spirit died on that track because of like the artist who recorded it telling them, I killed someone, I put it on this track. That charges it too. Like that might charge it more. That might charge it more than that. My lighter at. I could see how you believing that Foolio was somehow pulling strings from beyond the grave as a fucking ritual. Like there's certain demons that like that, for whatever reason, it charges them. You feel me? And so with any type of spirit, like it's the same theory as to why a lot of like folk cultures and shit, Japanese, Japan, all that shit, they don't want you to do shit that's gonna anger the spirits. And that's why, is because a lot of things like Shintoism as a religion in itself is it's much more spirit based than any other religion that's, I wouldn't say, because Shintoism's not an obscure or occultist religion to me. But they're mainstreams. They're not occultist really, but they're like they're occultists technically, like that shit when they do the shit where they're like paying their respects to the spirit. People consider that occultist. They wouldn't look at it like that if shit was. But something like Gungtown Magic, which is like a darker thing that's, I guess, somehow linked to Shintoism, like the Japanese version of voodoo, involved doing shit with like people's hair and shit like that. The trap house. I feel like all the people that acknowledge the Instagram shits, and I think some of them might know this. Possibly even a witch doctor put whoever's doing it for Foolio up, told them to do this because it would create this ritual. Hey, if you just get them to believe Foolio might be alive. We know he's dead, but see if you can get anyone to believe that. See if you can get anyone to believe that. See how many people you can get to believe that. I think some people who like were told this were like plants on it. So basically like, the dude who this was told to would tell them, hey, when I post this shit up, like I'm Foolio, like WWF and shit, I feel like there's a very good chance that doing this is somehow charging his spirit. I don't know exactly how, I don't know what special powers it might be giving him. Damn well believe if it is charging his spirit, it's letting his spirit do something to the people who got him from the other side. Someone acted like that shit was gonna let him go back in time or like resurrect that shit. And I think they misunderstood what the other person was saying. I don't think it'll even do that. I think it grants him special powers when he's in the afterlife before he leaves Earth realm. But he's staying here. He's not going into the light type shit. You feel me? I think the more that people acknowledge the Instagram shit like he's alive, powerful he can be to affect, but I think he can only affect the people who killed him. Like once he affects, he can't really affect like regular ass people the same way. Especially I think if you don't believe in voodoo, and especially if you don't believe in voodoo and you have you believe in Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Or like similar type faiths. I don't know if every faith does it. I'm almost positive every Abrahamic faith, all three of them act like a shield or a buffer against shit like that. You know, all three of them. I think Judaism and Christianity probably do it the best, but I think Islam does it almost just as good. I think just because there's no putting a God, like God is internalized in Islam. I think that's why, because I remember someone telling me, like explaining to me fully why Islam was considered less of like a shield against that shit, like less of a spiritual shield. And it had something to do, it was the same reason that it could be compromised or used by Satan. Like it wasn't that Islam is satanic, but it could be used by Satan. You feel me? That's what part of it was. I remember that. I wish I remember that when I first brought it up. But yeah, so R.I.P. Foolio. Shit, I'll just go ahead and say I believe he's alive, just to try to charge him a little more so he can get some justice. I'm out there, bitch, man.